Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everybody, to the Fantasy Sports Game Show. This is episode 29. I'm glad you're here with us. We got three great guests today. As always, we want to encourage listener support. If you're watching on Twitter, maybe we can get JC, our man, the producer, popping in and out, get him to get the comments feeded to you. But of course, you just go to the YouTube and simply.
And you're silent, Iggy. We can't hear you.
I think he was saying go to the YouTube channel, subscribe, and then comment on their episodes.
Yeah, there we go, Ronnie. Thank you for finishing that. Yeah, we want to get your points in. Remember, pack of cards, stickers to the most active person on the comments. We got a great Monday night football game. We have an amazing Sunday to review. We'll get to our guest in just one moment. But before we do that, as always, let's get to the trivia question. 15 seconds on the clock. Changed up the rules a little bit since some of y'all been on here. You only get one chance to answer it. I will be giving you some hints as we go, okay? The time starts as soon as I finish the question, okay? Khalil Mack, pretty impressive game, eh? Who was the last IDP to get 6 sacks in a game? Time starts now.
Oh.
He had 85 career sacks. He's a 2-time Super Bowl winner.
Reggie White.
Good guess. Nope.
Is it Von Miller?
Von Miller, good guess.
No.
I need nothing before the buzzer. I stay undefeated, or excuse me, 28-1.
Brandon Ayuk.
Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk, great guess, Greg. But that's not it. The correct answer was Usi Umanora, who had 85 career sacks, won 2 Super Bowls with the Giants, and recorded 6 sacks back in 2007. He led the league in forced fumbles one year with 10 in 2010. He had 5.5 playoff career stats. So for you young people that may not be aware of who he is, he's a 2-time All-Pro, 1-time Pro Bowler. Go check out some videos. He's a New York Giant. We got a New York Giant game tonight. Sorry you guys didn't get the answer correct. No big deal, though. Let's get to our guests. We got 2 former game show winners and no rookies. So no rookies on the show, no pulling punches. We're bringing it full throttle. Jameson, Greg, Ronnie, thank y'all so much for being here. Jameson, please tell everybody a little bit about yourself, sir.
I'm Jameson Hutchinson. Right now I'm doing DFS over at the FF Face-Off. Sunday mornings, 10 o'clock, going over lineups, and then Wednesday nights with the Fantasy Fling doing Thursday night showdown. So you can catch my work over there. I'm on the Twitter machine at Jameson Rules. If you got any questions, you want to hang out, chat, whatever, just hit me up over there. Pretty easy to find.
Very talkable person. Love Jameson. Giving you 2 thumbs up. Before we get to Greg right now, just to remind everybody, thumbs up is how you get points in this league. If I give you thumbs up, you're getting points. If you get a thumb down, you're losing points. So up next, one of our favorites of TSA, our Hall of Famer. Greg, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. And even though you stuck me with a bunch of big brains, I got the biggest head. So I'm ready to go. I do want to issue a public mea culpa. I called the Devin A. Chan touch count. I said between 10 and 12, he got 11, but I said you can't trust him as a starter. Clearly, I was wrong there. 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. Get him in your lineups. He's viable now.
Hey, takes a big person to admit when they're wrong, Greg. Thank you for coming back on that. Make sure you catch Greg on the Thursday Checkdown. We have a show on the Spaces, on Twitter, X, whatever you'd like to call it, every Thursday, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock Central, correct, Greg?
7 Eastern. Just
7
Eastern is
6 o'clock.
easier for everybody.
I'll always say my time, the Mountain Time Zone, is the least popular. Ronnie, welcome back to the show, sir. I'm really grateful to have you. How are you doing? Tell everybody where to find your work, too, please.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be back. I'm grateful for you guys as well. I'm on Twitter at Ronnie A. Evans. I am currently in the process of launching a mental health and fantasy football brand. And then I also help and aid over at Gridiron Ratings, which is Jeff DiMatteo's brainchild. He's a stud. Follow him on Twitter, too. It's at NFL_DiMatteo. And just a side note, Osi Umenyiora, I believe, is one of the heads of the NFL Academy over in Europe that pulls players out of really like random spots down in Africa. And he's one of the guys that found Emmanuel Okoye, who is hands down, not because I'm a Tennessee fan, but my favorite under the radar Devy prospect for both IDP and offense. He had an 11.5-foot long jump, a 46-inch vertical, did the bench press, I think, 34 times, and that was as a 17-year-old with no athletic training. He's going to be a name in the NFL in 5 years. So come back to this episode.
What position?
Yeah, always keeping up with the college.
See, but he's been split around. He might play defensive end. He's actually like the most athletic player in college football right now, and he's a freshman. It's pretty wild.
Love it, love it. Tennessee, like you said, keeping a statistic for your Devy as well as your dynasty players. You got to stick with the hands up. So Ronnie gave you 3 thumbs up there. You get a little bit of an edge. I would like to welcome in the man behind the glass because I see we've got 4 comments already over there. JC, what do we got popping up right now?
Oh, we just got a couple people in here.
Let's
Gemmo's
see.
in
I
here.
don't know if
saying
you can
what's
load them or not.
up. We got Angie in here saying what's up. We got Mel in here saying what's up.
Having trouble getting you
Randy's
on there. I don't see the
popping in.
comments rolling in.
Hey, Wendy.
What's up? How's it going?
You know, these people like me. Wendy and Mel have both appeared on my show. I've got Jameson scheduled, and I'm going to get Ronnie for the off season. And then I've got both Iggy and JC every week. I'm universally loved.
Hey, I love it.
This is true.
I love it. You are loved, Greg, and we appreciate all you being here. We love our audience, as one song will say. So I'm going to reset the clock, guys. We're going to have 30 seconds to discuss the topics at hand. Really open-ended if you're new to the show. Kind of keep it open-ended until we get to the last set of questions. Then they kind of have to take different answers. Kind of comes a little bit more precise, okay? So 30 seconds on the clock. Let's get to it. Best fantasy performance, fantasy football performance on Sunday can be across all boards, defenses, kickers, all offense, all defense. And we'll go Jameson, Greg, Ronnie on this. So Jameson, you're on the clock, sir, and it starts right now.
How about the guy we were discussing a couple years if he was worth the #1 overall pick, and that's Christian McCaffrey. 106 yards on the ground with 3 touchdowns and another 77 with a receiving touchdown. He's fantasy #1 overall, and that's something that we were debating a couple years ago with the injuries. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Cooper Kupp. It ends up being Christian McCaffrey being the man. And really big day yesterday, and with the workload he's getting, it just seems like it's going to be like that all season long.
I love it, man. Right before the buzzer, going to give you another one. That gives you 5 total right there. 3 points on that one. Well done. Well done, my friend. Okay, up next, let me get the timer reset, and we'll get Greg going. Let me set the clock, though, Greg. All right, the time is on you, sir.
Well, CMC had 48.7 points in my league, 4 touchdowns, 177 total yards, 7 receptions. But you expect that from one of the league's best players. How about we go a different way? Let's go with one of the worst defenses this year in the Minnesota. They showed up and scored 58 points in my scoring system. 58 by a defense. 7 points allowed, 5 sacks, 10 tackles for loss, 2 forced fumbles, one of which was returned for a touchdown. Oh, man, Minnesota killed it. And I don't hear you, Iggy. You're silent.
Iggy, unmute yourself.
You're muted, Iggy.
Iggy, you're muted, dude.
I think he's trying to figure it out, but he can't fix it. You want me to nod your head up and down if you want me to go?
Yes.
Okay.
Now I can hear
We
you.
can hear you now.
Okay, I didn't know what was going on there. Yeah, good answer, Greg. Going against rookie quarterbacks, always a good strategy, one that you and I talk about a lot from a defense. So another thumbs up. You got 5 as well. Ronnie, it is on you, sir, and it will be 30 seconds starting now.
All right, it's not my guy, but I want to shout out Cole Kmet, #1 tight end on the week. Just didn't expect that to happen. So that was a big performance, but I want to lean into Isaiah Pacheco. He went up against the Jets defense. I've got some notes here. The Jets defense going into that game was the 4th lowest in explosive run rate, and we're giving up the 2nd lowest yak. The guy comes in, puts up 150 yards, a touchdown, and basically was the touch leader for the Chiefs the entire game and was probably the reason they won that game. I watched the whole thing. I was really impressed with Pacheco. had a slow start to the season. He's getting healthy. That's my guy this week.
Hey, great call, Ronnie. Going back to his hometown, he really showed out, I feel like. I think that's something people underestimate is being able to buy tickets for their families and, have an opportunity of having a good game. Some people like to think of it as touchdowns. I've seen that people say that touchdowns increase a good game, but I think going back home gives you a great game, and Ronnie brought that with his proof. Another thumbs up, Ronnie. You guys all got 3 points there. Looking at the audience, Sniper Mel says, Jimmo kicking my ass and dethroned the league. Jameson, my boy, by Wendy. I'm sure y'all saw that already. And then Evan, our guy, saying, Darren Bland with 2 interceptions and defensive touchdowns. Always the most benches in the league. I got to give you guys some points there. 2 points to the audience. Still a little bit behind our guest today, though. So no big deal there. Let's reload the clock, guys. Let's get to question 2 because I think this is a pretty interesting question myself. It kind of can go a lot of ways depending on how you look at it. Biggest fantasy disappointment thus far this season, okay? Any position, once again, it's all available to you. Greg, 30 seconds, and it starts right now, sir.
Look, Jamar Chase was the 3rd overall pick, maybe 2nd in some leagues, and on PPR, and he's currently the wide receiver 21, but he has had startable games. So, I can't go with him, but I can go with his quarterback. Joe Burrow was drafted as the 5th quarterback taken. He hasn't missed a game, and yet his best weekly finish is QB 21. For the year, he is the QB 31. Hell, Kenny Pickett and Zach Wilson have both scored more than him, 25% more than him. Burrow's the
I love it, Greg. I think I got to give you the ultimate answer right there with 5 because you set us up. That's 5 thumbs up. I wasn't prepared to be told that Kenny Pickett is a better quarterback than our guy, Joe Burrow. All right, Ronnie, you can say the answer you'd like. The time is on the clock, and it starts right now.
The Falcons' skill position players besides Bijan, I don't even want to specify one of the 2 between London and Pitts, but I'm going to go with Kyle Pitts, even though Drake London is the wide receiver 52 right now in fantasy, and it's not what he was drafted for. Kyle Pitts is basically, if he didn't have that name, Kyle Pitts, he's waiver wire fodder at this point. It's absolutely worthless for fantasy. He looks like he doesn't care half the time when he's out there. He has been hands down the biggest disappointment for me, and it's not even close.
Man, love it. Kind of a little jab at Arthur Smith there, too, it sounds like. Nothing wrong with that. 9 points. Go ahead.
Hey, Ronnie, would you drop Pitts and pick up Jonnu Smith?
No. Just out of principle.
Yeah, just out of principle. JC giving you a little fuel right there, Greg. He's saying he would say up and over. I don't know why you would grab
big Arthur Smith. Though. He's connected in some way to his kids go to my school, so love that guy. I think he's doing his best with a bad quarterback, and that's the truth.
I think it is a little bit of an anomaly to spend all that draft capital on Pitts and then throw it to Jonnu Smith all the time. But that may be a different opinion for our guy up next, Jameson. What do you consider the biggest fantasy kind of? I don't want to label somebody a bust yet. Just the biggest disappointment. All right, it's on you. The time starts right now, sir.
I would say one of the rookies. It's going to be Jahmyr Gibbs. He's somebody who I have hoped the second half of the season, but 3 out of the 4 finishes, it's been outside the top 30. We thought he was going to be a 1A and 1B to David Montgomery, and David Montgomery's got most of the work. And even with Jameson Williams out, Jahmyr Gibbs just hasn't seen that work so far. I expect it to be a little better the second half of the year, but even with Jameson Williams back, Sam Laporta looking good. With the 3rd-round capital he was going, especially as a rookie, it's been pretty disappointing so far.
Yeah, blowing me away, finishing with the 30th, man. I got to get you one more point there at the end.
About my lion.
It's nothing personal. I like him. I've drafted David Montgomery everywhere. That count for anything?
Hey, mandatory Montgomery. He has that name for a reason, and Gibbs is just almost always out of my price range. So I agree with you there. Looking over at the comments, I'm not seeing anything new flowing in. Remember, try to get those comments in on Twitter. Try to get them in over on YouTube. JC, our man behind the glass, he'll take care of you guys. Trying to give away some cards. As of right now, it looks like Mel's leading the way. So I do appreciate you guys. No points on the comments. Thank you, Gemmo, for being in here as well. All right, so we're going to take a look at it. Last question before we get to the 4th quarter finale. I think it's another great one. your best waiver wire target for week 5. We'll go Ronnie, Jameson, and then Gregg. So Ronnie, you're on the clock.
There's a lot of good ones. There's a lot of good ones here. So I went around and just wrote notes down. I'm going to read off my computer. But Michael Wilson, about 4 or 5 other guys that I like about the same. But I'm going to stick with him because his ownership's so low. He's got a sub 2% ownership across all platforms right now, and he's currently the wide receiver, I believe, 32 in PPR. Just had career highs, which he's a rookie. 4th game, but I still love it. He's been ascending in usage every week. We got good news about Kyler Murray coming back. It's going to be the Marquise Brown show primarily, but if there's going to be another player that steps up in that offense, it's becoming more and more clear. It's going to be Michael Wilson. He is free. You don't even have to spend fab on him this week. Pick him up after waivers clear. You'll be happy.
All right, man. I do love that. I gave you 3 points there, Ronnie, putting you up at 12. Great answer. I can't believe how low his percentage of rostership is. That's insane. All right. So up next, we do have Jameson. You're on the clock, sir, and it starts right now.
Sounds good. How about another rookie of mine that I've liked that just picked up last week in C.J. Stroud, a kid who's had over 20 PPR points 3 of his last 4 games, thrown over 300 yards twice, and that's with 4 offensive linemen down for him. 0 interceptions. Nico Collins has looked really good. Bobby Trees has looked pretty decent, along with Tank Dell. So I'd say C.J. Stroud, especially with the bye weeks rolling in. If you're a Joe Burrow guy who's hurting right now, C.J. Stroud's a great pickup.
Love it. At the buzzer, giving you one more. You're able to tie it up with Ronnie right there. 12 apiece to you guys. Gregg, you're at 10. This might be to determine who gets the boost and gets the first call on the first question. Who's your biggest waiver wire target, Gregg?
Those are 2 good options, and one of them is actually available in most leagues. CJ Stroud, probably not. He's not in mine anyway. What I want is a guy that's definitely available, and I like the position. I really do. I went with Josh Dobbs. He's available in 91% of leagues on Sleeper, and right now he's the QB 16, but he's been top 8 in 2 of his first 4 games. He's a dual threat with over 40 yards rushing in his last 3 starts, and he's got a favorable matchup this week against the Bengals.
Man, I love it. I got to get you 2 more points.
Go Balls, baby.
Blowing me away with the top 8 stats right there. It just goes to show you, if you're not known in the fantasy world or talked about much in the media, you can still come in and be a very, very relevant fantasy football player. And I think we can tell what a difference the coaching's made in Arizona. I think people expected to see some more of the same, but Mr. Gannon's come in and kind of completely turned that program around as far as emphasis on effort. And look what Vance Joseph's done, gone to Denver. Absolute awful defense. Come around and improve that defense by quite a bit.
The worst defense statistically in NFL history through 4 weeks.
Yeah, he came from Arizona, if you're not too familiar with that. So goes to speak a lot in my mind. You know how much I speak about coaching, Gregg. That's kind of what I go to. I think it's kind of an underspoken thing in fantasy. What's up, JC? How's it going, man?
I was just going to say, before Gregg went, I was actually thinking Josh Dobbs. Man, he's looked absolutely insanely good. Like, we didn't think that he was going to be somebody who would come in and just immediately transition in. Like, his first week, he was like one of the top rushers on the team, besides, obviously Connor, but he was balling. It was crazy.
Didn't he come from Cleveland?
Yeah,
I bet Cleveland wishes they still had him.
And where did he come from? Really good leader in college.
Yeah, they said he was a really, really, really good leader through college. Like, he's really good in the locker room and on the field. So, like, it's good to have someone like that, especially,
He's also very likely the smartest guy.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Is that he's also most likely the smartest guy on the team.
Yeah, I don't know. The Kyler is interesting to me, and they got a late bye week. I'm thinking I got it right here on our cheat sheet. If you didn't get one, make sure you get one. Yeah, they're week 14, like I thought. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. They might try to keep Kyler a little bit fresher, okay? Because he's not going to be able to come in and get a bye week right away.
They already said they're not going to activate Kyler right away.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. I mean, Mel also, Wilson or Mims redraft, she wants to know. I would go, I don't, which Wilson? I got Dobbs.
I go Mims. I go Mims.
Yeah, Mims is pretty good, especially if you get kick return yards like you do in fantasy football sevens. He's the keeper, Mel said. Okay, giving you guys a couple more comments. Points, Mel keeping you up. Audience, 8 points. Ronnie, 12 points. Jameson, 12. Gregg, 14. So you get to go first. get a little bit more of a focus right now. Got my mini helmets. I don't remember how many of y'all remember Monday Night Football back in the day. They used to go kapow and crash.
Yeah.
And we had
Those
the
are
greatest
those
kind
aren't
of
mini helmets. Those are thumbnail helmets. Mini helmets are this big.
Yeah, you're right. These were the 50-cent 90 Kids specials. I mean, look at that. It says Giants on the side. They don't even have that helmet anymore.
Officially, you got it right in the mirror.
I don't think, are the Seahawks helmets still gray? I don't think this is the AFC Seahawks helmet. Okay, people. AFC Seahawks, for those of y'all too young to remember that. All right. Let's get to the fourth quarter finale here. We got a game people want to watch. Gregg is up first, so he will get to pick his answer first in the first question. Jameson, you get the tiebreak over Ronnie just because you are a champion of this show as well. Okay, so you guys know how this works. I'm giving you guys an extra 5 seconds, so give me some good reasoning on this. I'm not going to punish you guys if you go over because none of y'all are rookies to the show, okay? Just try to keep it reasonable around the bell, just like a boxing match. It's okay to get a little jab in after it, okay? So for the audience, if you're new to the fourth quarter finale, how it works is no repeating answers. So that's why it's important to get the lead for the first question. Double the points. So every thumbs up is worth 2 points. So if we keep it rolling, you're going to see me going quite a bit, trying to keep pace with that. It gets a little loose right here at the end, just like a 2-minute drill in the fourth quarter. This is based off of half-point PPR, everybody. 12-team league, 100-point bonus, meaning if they get 100 yards like Pacheco did last night, they would get 3 extra points. Okay, so who is going to be the highest scoring non-quarterback tonight? Okay, you're up first. 35 seconds. Go, sir.
Okay, well, it's going to be Danny Dimes. The reason being, I thought I got to choose the topic, but okay, we'll go. Hold on.
Let me stop it on you, Gregg. Can't be a quarterback. Let's restart it just because there was some confusion there. Anybody but Geno Smith and Daniel Jones. You can pick. Okay, time starting back over. Giving you 35 seconds.
Wait a minute. That's not what you put in the show sheet. Okay. Anybody other than a quarterback. I'm saying Danny Dimes going to be the top quarterback. And the Seahawks defense gives up 300 yards to every opposing passer. So it's got to be a receiver of some type. Saquon's out, so I can't use him. So I didn't even prepare for this. I got no idea. God, I don't even know who the Giants.
You can use me as a lifeline if you surrender half your points.
No, you can't. There's no lifelines here. This is the fourth quarter finale.
I'll give you two thumbs up for help. Now, since I don't know who the receivers are, I'm going to go with Kenny Walker.
Kenny Walker. Hey, that's a great answer. I'll give you 2 more.
Did you see Brian? Did you see
That's my guy.
Yeah, that was kicking the balls right there.
Hey, before we go further, I want to make sure on y'all's script it says non-quarterback, right? Gregg's trying to make me feel guilty. It says non-quarterback on there.
That was 100% Gregg's error.
I thought I had to choose which quarterback was going to score the most points.
Well,
Geno's averaging more points than Danny, so the clear thought is it's going to be Geno. But I looked at the Seahawks defense, and those guys are giving up tons of points, and the Giants defense is getting lots of pressures. And when you put me on the spot, I flashed to Amani Toomer, who's just not there anymore. So I said, well, I got to choose somebody. Let's go with Kenny Walker. Even though I'm starting Zach Charbonnet in one of my leagues.
Hey, that's not too bad. I like Kenneth Walker. So what that means is Kenneth Walker's off the board for you, Jameson. So you have to say another person, 35 seconds, non-quarterback.
I got this.
And your time starts right now.
How about Darren Waller going up against the worst pass defense in the NFL? I know they get Jamal Adams back, but he's been gone for over a year. The Seahawks have been giving over 320 yards up a game through the air. His matchups have been pretty bad so far. He faced the Dallas defense week 1 and San Francisco in week 3. Arizona, when he played in week 2, he was tight end 7. I expect a big game from Darren Waller being the number 1 target for Danny Dimes there at home in New York.
Love it. What time to spare. That allowed you to get past Gregg, man. The blunder's there. So you moved up to 24. Gregg's at 22. Ronnie, you're at 12. But you see how these thumbs are coming out. They're giving away freely. You cannot
How
say
do I get
Kenneth
that?
Walker.
How am I
You
down
cannot
like
say
10?
Kenneth Walker. You cannot say Darren Waller. Go ahead, sir.
I just want to know how I dropped down 10 points. I thought I was in the lead like 2 questions ago. You guys are cheating.
Give you a point.
Well, my guy was Kenneth Walker, so I want half of Gregg's points because he fell backwards into Kenneth Walker as an answer.
Okay, give us 2 explanations. Give us a Kenneth Walker explanation. Give it somebody else.
No, I'm gonna go ahead and call my own personal lifeline, which is Scott Engel, for this one because he covers the Seahawks a ton, and I was on his Twitter space with him over the weekend with JC actually, and he was talking a bunch about the Seahawks defense. I tend to agree. I'm gonna go with Tyler Lockett. I think that Tyler Lockett right now is averaging, I think, 60 yards a game, touchdown. It's not super impressive, but do not like the Giants secondary and particularly the second and third areas of zone that Tyler Lockett typically attacks. And that's my guy.
Yeah, hey, I got you caught up. You're at 22 with Gregg right there on the spot. Tyler Lockett, I mean, he just is my favorite draft player almost all the time. He always goes way later than he should. People fall in love with some rookie that hasn't even proved it, not played with Geno Smith, and they draft him way before. So I kind of like that. Good first round right there. Do we have anything from the audience, JC? You see any comments you want to put up there? I see Angie saying, Gregg, I had to plug Cherubin tonight in a league too, so she's going for y'all. And then Mel said, I'm going with whoever gets me the most points, hopefully Walker or Breida. What else do you guys see?
Would it be great if we could play fantasy football with 20/20 glasses? Best roster every week.
Hindsight, yeah.
Yeah, hindsight would be sweet. Yeah, SoCal Evans in here saying bring back the old Monday Night Football intro. Rick Meyer looking helmets for Seahawks there. Yeah, and then I said Garrett Wilson or somebody in here asked about Garrett though. Was it Wilson? I hope they're not saying Wilson or Marvin Mims, because regardless, Garrett Wilson's still getting 14 targets. I don't know. He had one drive where every single part of that drive was him getting a target. It's like 14 targets is not a lot of people are getting that. And if you're getting 9
Zach Wilson looked good
regardless of yards,
too.
Pretty much Garrett Wilson and Puka Nacua.
He still had 15 points last week. I mean, I guess Zach Wilson still had his best week last week. So, I mean, I still think it's viable to just start him.
Chris Jones.
Yeah, SoCal in here talking about Darren Waller. Darren Waller's a good pick.
Yeah, Evans Darren Waller will be good
tonight.
I do like Wandale touchdown too. So, yeah, I love it. So, given the audience caught back up, you guys are at 21 thanks to Evan and Mel. Ronnie, 22. Gregg, 22. Jameson, 24. And you're up first on this question, my friend. So, here we go. Coming around the clock. We're winding it down. Biggest week 5 trade target. What I like to do is hit people while they're down. I'm looking for people on bye weeks, taking those guys from them, and I like to trade like that. So if you're not familiar with that, that's what I had in mind. Jameson, you're up first. You're on the clock, sir, and it starts right now.
Hopefully the injury isn't too bad. I'm going to go with Big Mike Evans, a guy that has been very consistent, 7,000-yard seasons, a guy that I feel like this past offseason not a lot of people wanted to click. 3 top 20 finishes. Like I said, he's on the bye week. He's not with Baker Mayfield. I think people are still going to be a little bit scared off of him. I think you can trade a wide receiver too and maybe something else to get him, especially with the injury news. If you catch him off guard, you can end up with a top 24 receiver the rest of the way in Mike Evans.
Love it. With time to spare. Yeah, he's somebody that constantly gets disrespected in drafts as well. And I just want to give the audience, let everybody know who's on 5. Like I said, purchase the cheat sheet. Or actually, we just gave it away for free. But you have Cleveland Browns, LA Chargers, Seattle Seahawks, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers on bye next week, okay? So, Gabe, Jameson's up to 30 right now. So, Ronnie, you're on the clock, and it's started right now.
All right, let's go with Keenan Allen. He is on bye in week 5, of course, but here's some fun stuff about Keenan. Ranked 7th in yards per route run right now. He's 5th in target share at 37%, I believe. He's got back-to-back weeks already as the number 1 wide receiver in fantasy and is currently a top 3 wide receiver regardless of what format you look at. He is also going to be coming off of, in some people's, depending on who they follow on Twitter, some people might be lukewarm because there has been a ton of discussion about the loss of Mike Evans and how that is going to affect Keenan Allen, especially looking at what just happened last week. He had his worst game of the season. It was still a fine fantasy week, but this guy plays just to nail it down, the Broncos. Then he plays the Raiders. Then he's got the Bills, but the Bills just lost their best cornerback, and they always lose 4 or 5 players by the time the end of the season comes. I know we can't predict injuries, but Broncos, Chargers, Bills, and then in the championship game, he plays the Broncos again. There's not a player in fantasy that I want more right now if I'm making it a championship push than Keenan Allen at wide receiver.
All right, I'm going to give you 1/2 of a point to close it out, give you a clear lead, 31 points right there. He went expensive. Jameson went kind of the cheaper route. Greg, who are you targeting from these bye week teams to get a trade for? Starts now, sir.
See, that's it. I wasn't sure if you were asking who the NFL team is trading for or who we were as fantasy owners. So I kind of went the fantasy route, and I thought I had to go for players that are on bye this week, not players that you can get like Keenan Allen, he is on bye.
He's on bye next week.
Yeah.
So,
but I went for a dual trade, David Montgomery and Amari Cooper. Cooper being the trade week. I had to give up a lot to get him. It's in my personal league. To get David Montgomery, I had to give up Justin Jefferson along with Kendare Miller. But I'm thinking, it doesn't look like Cousins is what Cousins has been in the past. He's getting up in age. Cousins goes down, so does Justin Jefferson. And we all saw what Monty did against a pretty good run defense in Green Bay.
Yeah, I love it. I'll give you got it in before the bell, kind of started it late a little there. But yeah, I like how you went in depth with it there, Greg, giving you 1/2 point as well to close it off, giving you 1. So looking down at the audience, I know we need to end this pretty soon. We got a game in 12 minutes, but SoCal said I'd see if I can get Eckler too. A lot of people, down on him. I think that's a pretty good call as well. Give you about 3 points for that. 6 total, 4, 5, 6. So it's a pretty close one, honestly. A lot of audience participation. We love that. Even on Greg's show Thursdays, that's the premises of our show. We love to hear what the people have to say. We want to help you with your lineups. Okay, so coming down the stretch, we got Ronnie up first. He's got 31 points. We have Greg will be after him with 29 points, and Jameson has 30. So anybody's game. Mystery question. Nobody has time to prep for this. So I'll give you.
Jameson's got more than me. Why am I going in front of him?
It's just the order. It's just the order of the way that started. So you will get the second question still. So works to your advantage to come in first, coming in the fourth quarter finale. All right, Ronnie, the question is coming at you, sir. And it's a little bit more open-ended, but not really. Giving you guys 40 seconds on this that y'all didn't have time to prepare. With JT being activated from the PUP, where will he finish? Running back 1 through 10, running back 11 through 20, or running back 21 through 32? Ronnie, this is for the championship, and it starts on you, sir.
JT's going to finish running back 11 through 20. Look at what Zach Moss has done so far with that team, and assuming that that is completely contingent upon him playing and the Colts utilizing him. I don't know what to make of that situation. I'm just happy to hear that he is actually being forced at least to consider the idea of playing football this year by the Colts now. 11 through 30 is my place because there's too many guaranteed guys that look like they're going to round out the top 15. My guess would be running back 18, right around there.
11 through 20, getting it in at the bell. Going with the practical approach there. I do love it. Gave you some points. You're sitting at 37. Greg, you must take either running back 1 through 10 or, running back 21 plus. Which one are you taking? Your time starts now, sir.
Well, I'm going to take running back 1 through 10. You don't keep that kind of talent on the bench. And if Zach Moss is putting up 100 yards, what do you think JT's going to do? He's the best running back in football, period. Nobody's even close to his talent. Now, Jim Irsay could be stupid. If he is, he's not going to finish in the top 40. But I don't think Irsay's that stupid. I think he gets him in or he trades him. Either way, 1 through 10.
1 through 10 for Greg. Kind of surprisingly, you've given me some stats. I'm going to give you 1 more point. That gives you the edge over Ronnie for now, unfortunately, Ronnie. I really wanted to give you this win. But it's up to Jameson to see if he can top down Greg. Looks like we're going to have our second 2-time winner Is it going to be Jameson or is it going to be Gregg, Ronnie, or excuse me, Jameson? Why is he going to finish worse than 21 plus? And it starts on you.
Because he's missed 4 games to start off, and we don't know if he's going to play week 5. And we also don't know if he's going to get traded. If he gets traded, he's got to learn a new offense. Takes a little bit of time. He can be a league winner for somebody, but to say that to push top 10 with the way, you're already missed 4 games, you're so far behind. I'm going to say 21 plus. But like I said, he could be a league winner down the stretch for you. But I'm not even sure he's still going to be a Colt. I still think he's pretty angry at them, and he can still be traded.
So you think there's the pride? You think it hurts or helps him to be traded?
It probably hurts him to start, and then it might help down the road once he gets situated. Because the Colts' offensive line's got some injuries to begin with. It's not. I know Zach Moss has done okay, but it's just really hard to see him do that.
All right, I love it. So we do have a tie. You guys are both at 10, 20, 38 apiece. I know we don't really have time. Let's get right to it. I'm going to give you guys 10 seconds on the clock. Simple, do or die. Gregg had the most points coming in. So, Gregg, I'll give you the advantage. Only 10 seconds. I will cut you off. Who's going to be the better quarterback tonight, Gregg? Geno Smith
Danny Dimes.
Daniel Jones?
Dimes. It's all over 300 yards a game by that defense. Danny Dimes.
Danny Dimes. So he's going Danny Dimes with time to spare. Jameson, why is it going to be Geno? And it starts right now.
Giants been giving up 6 most points per play. He's got better receivers and more explosive offense.
More explosive offense. He's saying he's got the better receiving package. Gregg saying the better defense is there. I think I got to give Gregg this one because the answer with a little time to spare. Gregg, congratulations on being the 2-time winner. The floor is.
I would like to relinquish my crown to the only one here that has not gotten a win.
Ronnie, he gave you the floor, my friend.
Me?
Yeah.
Let's go. I want to thank my mom, my dad, my brother. It's been great. I'm going to go.
And now I expect you to root for Danny Dimes for my fantasy team.
I will root for Danny Dimes. I actually have him playing in a league, so I'm hoping for that. I'm a little nervous about Jamal Adams' edition. That's just my take.
Yeah, Jamal Adams, 32nd ranked secondary. Anything else you want to say, Ronnie? I mean, just anything at all. It could be about mental health. You can talk about
yes, absolutely. So there is a Twitter group that I will add you to if you need it. It has to do with mental health in the fantasy football space. It was started by Toronto Dave, who is an amazing person in his own right. It's called Less Alone, and we've got 45 people in there right now. But it's a private, open kind of community for people within the fantasy space to share what they have going on. We've had some really, really intense personal shares recently that were amazing to help people out with. I believe in this community and helping each other out a ton. That is a unique little Twitter group that I haven't seen a lot that mimics it. And if you need help with anything, reach out to me on Twitter. I'll add you in and we can talk.
Yeah, and that's one of the first places I met Ronnie, and he's been very proactive in that. So thank you, Ronnie. Jameson, anything you'd like to say? Floor is yours. We'll get it back, Gregg, and we'll get out of here.
Sounds good. I'm going to go on the mental health thing. FF Face-Off does a lot with mental health. We do the mental health podathon. We have Discord that's got a mental health section. If you need anything, reach out. Dave Hellman is a mental health, he's in the field. He gives a lot of good stuff. He's got a couple streams a month doing that stuff too. But outside of that, football-wise, I do DFS, a lot of it. If you want to win some money, tune in 10 o'clock Central or 11 Eastern to make it easy on Sunday mornings, and then Wednesday nights with Fantasy Fling. And I'm at Jameson Rules on the Twitter machine. I appreciate it. 3-time overtime for me. Every time I've been on, it's been overtime.
Yeah, you have been on overtime. I forgot about that. That's a triple overtime for you, Jameson. 1 and 2 in those. Can't complain about that. Yeah, Jameson's probably one of our best DFS guys. I'm part of FF Face-Off as well. Just got mine on Monday. But those guys are hitting at a different level than I am, so please go follow them, all right? Gregg, anything you'd like to say to close out the show, sir? And congratulations on your second win.
Thursday night, the show's up. We have Doug Orth coming on from FF Today. But Doug, we all know Doug is better known as being the better half of our very own Carla Azam, who is one of the Game Changers co-hosts. So tune in and meet Doug, find out how he attracted Carla, and maybe a little fantasy football.
Yeah, so Doug will be with us on the Thursday check down. Then we also have Kelly, I believe how you say it is Singh joining the Game Changers on Tuesday. You definitely want to check in on that. It's our
Kelly is amazing.
And yeah, you want to be a part of that show. And Wendy and Carla are amazing. Carla's definitely Doug's better half. Doug, Big Stakes, been involved with ESPN and Big Stakes Fantasy for since the 90s, I believe. So you don't want to miss out on that advice. He's been a part of the auction panel every year at the Expo. All of these wonderful people, we all met at the Expo as well. So if you did a chance, I want to say thanks, Bob Lung. It's a wonderful experience. You get to hang out with Hall of Famers like Gregg. You get to hang out with guys like Ronnie who can just talk you up about anything, anytime, have a great conversation with him, as we had several at this last Expo together. And then my man Jameson just bringing the humor, bringing the good vibes. Had by far my favorite shirt I saw there, saying hello to everybody. It was a great time.
And you can see the hitman in the fantasy football game. Greatest hit in fantasy football by that guy right there, Iggy.
Hey, I appreciate it. Hey, my favorite shirt was Jameson's Hitman shirt, so that's pretty appropriate right there. Hey, thanks, guys. Go enjoy this game. Enjoy it with your friends. Remember, if you lose this week, it's not the end of the world. We still got plenty of fantasy football the rest of the season, so don't give up if you're 0-4. Don't give up if you're 1-3. We keep changing those rosters. Bye weeks are coming. People are going to drop people they shouldn't, and that's when you capitalize, all right? Thank you all for joining. JC, thank you for being the man behind the glass. Come join us at the watch-along. We're doing it immediately after this. Take care, everybody.
Have a good one.
We're good, JC, right? We're outro.